Hello fellow survivors, and welcome to a new video series called Mythbusters, which is exactly what you think it is. It is testing different things in the game, in particular claims people have made about how the game works. And we're going to put it to the test to see if that's actually how the game is made. And today we're going to test Crampons. And there are two claims in particular that people make about Crampons. The first is that you climb ropes faster if you wear Crampons. The second one is that you lose less energy, as indicated by the fatigue meter, when you have Crampons as well while climbing a rope. And these are the two things we're going to test today. Before I go into anything, let me just point out that the Crampons have other purposes, of course. Crampons will protect you a bit more against sprains than if you don't have them on. And you can also walk on thin ice for basically 1 more second having them. So they have other uses too. But today we're going to test rope climbing. And first we're going to try it on a small rope near Tin Wolf Mountain, which isn't a very long climb. And what we're going to see is two instances that are identical in every respect, where one has crampons on the right and there's no crampons on the left. And as you can see, if you look at the meters as we climb this rope, there is actually no difference. They are ascending just the same. It's pretty much almost frame by frame identical. So it's exactly the same. There's no difference at all. Climbing a rope with crampons is not faster. It takes just as long. And the other thing, if you look at the fatigue meter, it's also the same. We lost the same amount of energy climbing the rope, both with and without crampons. The only difference is that the sprint meter, which turns into the climbing meter when you start climbing, that is drained slower when you have the crampons on, which means you effectively can climb for longer, but the actual energy is not lost any faster or slower or anything like that. So they're exactly the same. However, let's do some more testing just to make sure. Let's go to a larger rope, for example, the rope leading up to the summit, which is quite a long climb. Let's again do two identical climbs, one with crampons on the right and no crampons on the left. And let's see how they fare when they go up the rope. And as you can see, if you pay attention to the meters, it is again exactly the same. The meter on the right, which has crampons, is drained slower in terms of the climbing meter. So you have more energy to climb, but the fatigue meter stays the same in both conditions. And as a fully rested player, you can climb the summit in one go, no problem, as you can see. There is a very small difference where the crampons reach the summit maybe half a second faster, but that's such a small difference that it's practically negligible. So I'd rather just conclude that there's no difference. And again, the only thing that really was different between the two was that you had more of a sprint meter or climbing meter left when you had crampons on, but that didn't really make a difference because you reached the top anyway. Now with these two tests, it's pretty clear that 1, you do not climb ropes faster when you have crampons on, and 2, you do not drain energy slower when you have crampons on either. So it seems like these myths are busted. The crampons do not impact these in any way, and they just allow you to climb for longer, but that doesn't really matter as long as you're rested. So these myths are busted. However, I did a third test because I figured that there might be situations where crampons do make a difference. And that is, what if you don't have a fully rested character and you get tired at climbing up the rope? Well, in that case, the crampons might make a difference because your climbing meter is drained slower, which might mean you're able to climb further. So let's put that to the test. So I got, again, 2 identical runs. We're going to watch the one without crampons first. The character has 55% fatigue. He starts climbing, and during the climb, he becomes encumbered and starts being heavy, and then the fatigue drains even faster, and the climbing meter is draining, and you can see that the character is now struggling to get up. Going up to the summit in one go seems very difficult. You clearly have to take a break here and then recharge. It's with this amount of weight and this little fatigue, it doesn't seem likely that you can get up to the summit without dumping some weight or maybe having a rest or something like that. And as you can see now, we've reached the second ledge. Still got a little ways to go, and the climbing meter has drained completely, and the fatigue meter is about to drain as well, which means that we're now entering the territory of the risk of falling. We might actually fall off the rope, and seems unlikely they were going to reach the top. And there you go, boom, fell down the rope, and we just barely have enough energy to get up to this ledge here, but getting up to the summit at this point is going to be impossible. So that's without crampons. What if we have the exact same situation but with crampons on? Again, 55%, and also we're going to get tired and heavy very soon, and we're climbing up, and the only difference here is that the climbing meter is drained slower. The fatigue is still drained the same, but because it takes much longer for the climbing meter to drain, it also means it takes longer before the character slows down, and then in return, the fatigue meter doesn't drain as fast because you don't run out of climbing meters, basically. So as you can see already, even though we're starting to run out of energy, because of the crampons, we are climbing further than without crampons. We still have some energy left, not very much. We're almost completely drained. We are heavy, we're tired, and we're basically banking on getting up there. And as you can see, we're about to run out, but we're almost there, almost there. The fatigue has run out, climbing meter is almost out, and there it's out. And now there's a chance of falling, but we're so close. It's a couple more steps, and we managed. And this is actually all thanks to the crampons. So that's interesting to know. So contextually, crampons are useful for climbing. The claim that crampons make you climb faster is not true, and they do not drain your fatigue meter slower. However, because it takes longer for the climbing meter or sprint meter to drain, it does mean that you have more time to climb up long ropes, because normally if you don't have the crampons on and you get tired and heavy, your climbing speed slows down because you drain your climbing meter pretty fast. But because of the crampons, you basically get more time to climb, and that allows you to go further. So crampons, even though they in general, as long as everything is fine, they don't really do much climbing wise. But if you're in a situation where your meters aren't full, you aren't fully rested, and there's a risk of getting heavy, the crampons basically buys you more climbing time, and that allows you to climb further. So they are still useful for climbing ropes, even if the claims themselves about energy and climbing speed are incorrect. So yeah, the myths were busted, but crampons are still useful when climbing ropes. So it might be worth bringing them for a summit run or something else with big ropes. And that's it for this Mythbuster episode. Hope you liked it. Let me know what you would like to see next time, and maybe we'll try that out. Bye bye, survivors.